Hey friends, this is Steve with Real Progressives. I wasn't planning on doing the stream right now, but I thought that it was important to talk about something that's been weighing very heavily on my mind as I watch, as many of you know, I've come out and told my story about being a former Republican and the conservative mindset that makes men feel like they have to be men. That manly man, raw kind of guy, And it's that male thing where men are telling each other, you can't cry. Oh, what a sissy, man. What a freaking loser. Look at that guy. And you watch, and it's this lack of empathy, this inability to allow themselves to feel publicly. And I'm not talking about being a friggin' drama queen. I'm not talking about running around drawing attention to yourself. I'm talking about just basically having empathy and being able to show that you feel, being able to allow yourself to not be macho man, to understand that macho is sometimes being fearless. And that means allowing others to see you hurt, allowing others to see that you actually feel. And what you've got is a bunch of men running around right now that think by showing that they feel, that somehow or another makes them a homosexual. A lot of them are afraid of that fear of being called a homosexual to the point that they don't allow any emotion to show up, to the point where they will actually go out of their way to tease and torment other people because it is a way of deflecting away any fear of their masculinity being challenged. Now, I usually put all this back and call it Calvinism because of the whole Christian church and the ethics and all the other thinking that goes around sin behavior and so forth that so much of our country was founded on. But there is a true underlying patriarchal approach to life that says men just simply aren't allowed to feel. They're not allowed to show emotion. They're not allowed to be soft. They're not allowed to, whatever. And I think a huge amount of the population interprets social democracy as feminine. Somehow or another, it is a weakness. It is showing that you are not strong enough to survive, forage for your food, fight for your health care, fight for your car, fight for your house, fight for your family, whatever, right? They see any form of ensuring people are taken care of as an affront to their manhood, as an affront to masculinity. It means that they're weak. And this is the conservative mindset, and it is very pervasive. Don't count this out. I'm telling you right now, coming from a conservative background, a lot of these people truly believe that in order to care about people getting health care, in order to care about people having food on their plate, they think of that as weakness, and weakness to them is a sign of homosexuality. It's that core down in their body. And this is where homo shaming and gay all the stuff that you see, the homophobic behaviors within the conservative community, fuel all of these things. I mean, it's not just one thing. It cascades into so many very important things. And it is such a pervasive issue that until we eradicate that, until we make it okay for men to feel, for them to nurture kids, for them to be able to cry when they're sad, for them to not be mocked and shamed for showing weakness. Until that kind of a mindset becomes pervasive in America, you're going to continue to see people poor shaming. You're going to continue to see people shaming anybody that has a weakness whatsoever, because it always boils down to you're not a man. What kind of man are you? I'm not even joking. I wish I was. How do I know this? while back, some of you all might remember that after the election was stolen from Bernie Sanders, and I was fighting and fighting and fighting up until the nth, and I cried. I had a video where I expressed how hard I and the team that I work with had worked to try and get Bernie elected, get him the nomination, and then watch them steal it from us. And I cried. I wept. And it made me so angry at our country, at our systems, at our processes. And I kept thinking about my kids. And it just destroyed me. I mean, it had me so upset. So now there's a bunch of assholes running around using screen caps of me crying as their profile picture. Now, my first thought on that originally was to be upset about it. You know, because it's like, I mean, who wants that, right? But then I realized, guess what? Once again, these are people that are actually watching my videos because they don't have videos of their own, right? They're coming to our page and they're checking it out. But it's also because these are the same people that are struggling with their own sexuality. They're struggling with their own masculinity. So rather than own that and address that and be free of the demons that they've got surrounding themselves, they would rather lash out and mock people for showing their vulnerability, for showing their actual passion and emotion. They would rather you just deadpan it or go, hey, stupid idiot, yeah. Meathead approach, right? Well, it's that very thing right there that as a mindset across this country within a large subsection of male population creates the next round of hateful conservatives. They could be Democrats, they could be Republicans, but nonetheless hateful conservatives. Machismo-driven conservatives who find helping people to be a sign of weakness. I don't get it. Maybe you do. But at this point in time, I'm figuring out that until we stop looking at homosexuality and so forth as simply, gay rights, instead of learning that the gender spectrum, instead of learning about the entirety of a man should not have to cut off half of his emotions to survive in this country. A man should be able to speak with conviction, should be able to cry, should be able to laugh, should be able to get serious, should be humorous, whatever. There should not be a specific, oh, well, he's acting like whatever. Right? I mean, seriously, think about that. So when you try to tell people how important it is that we have Medicare for all, or we start talking about how we should have college as a universal right for all Americans, and they start pushing back on you, it's not just that they hate the government. It's that they're afraid of showing weakness, and because if they show weakness, that's a sign that they're not a real man. Sign they're not a real man in their eyes. How terrible is that? How pathetic is that? And what that tells you is that talking about all the logical stuff about, hey, free healthcare actually saves your children. It helps your wife. It helps your life. It helps you live a longer life. It makes poverty go away because people feel better and they want to do better. And life changes for people when they have access to medical care. But they don't hear that. So you know as well as I do now, I think, that part of the play here is redefining what is a man. Redefining this whole idea that you've got to be a complete buffoon to be masculine. And until we shatter that, until we really, really grind down that whole, hey, I got to be a jerk to be a man approach to life, we're going to have a big struggle with a large section of the population in terms of being able to make progress. So it's not just political, it's social. It really is. It's all about changing the way we talk to each other. And, I don't know what it's like for women when they look at a man and they see him cry. Do they get grossed out? Do they feel sad? Do they say, wow, that's a strong guy because he's able to feel and have emotions? I don't know. You have to ask yourself, what part do each of the genders play in creating the asshole, the badass at the bar scene who's suppressing a lot of emotions, and by suppressing them, he ends up lashing out and being that guy that starts the bar fight, that starts screwing things up for everybody because they want to be seen as cool. You know that whole a badass makes a girl's heartbeat faster thing? Hey, I don't know. There are a lot of people playing up to that. And I see a lot of people out there fighting for that. And yet at the same time, it's those people that I see typically most against making progress in this nation. So what do we do with that? I don't know. I mean, I'm at this point now where I'm just starting to really, truly realize exactly how bad gender definitions are in this country. How we've boxed people into the point where they suppress so much normal human emotion because they're afraid of being seen as weak, or being afraid to be seen as gay, or being afraid to be seen as a non-productive member of society, whatever. That people are shutting down, and therefore they can't allow anyone else to feel it, to live it, to do it. And so therefore all these progressive ideas that we push forth, there's an entire masculinity, fake masculinity, but nonetheless a patriarchal masculinity that is fighting us tooth and nail at the bottom of the surface, blocking progress. And until we fix that, it's going to be a tough road to hoe. There's a lot of guys out there that want to blow their smokestacks and spray you with their coal rolling, you know? They really, really, really want to prove their big tires and their big trucks and their big flags and their big guns and all the big stuff that makes them feel more masculine, which is just the way it is right now. And until we shatter that, until we make sure that people feel like it's okay to feel, to be compassionate, and not just say it, but when you see somebody crying, not go, oh God, and kind of stay clear of them, but really, really understand that people should be able to freaking flex a full range of emotions. Why in the world will we sit there and try and stifle that? We got some fixing to do, folks. America's broke, and it starts right there with the men in this country who still can't fully grasp that it's okay to feel. It's okay. I don't know where the pressure's coming from. If the ladies are contributing to it, ladies, let's help them. And guys, if you're sitting there pushing your buddies to act like a jackhole and stifle emotions, what's up, man? Fix it. Fix it. We got things to do in this country. We need to get past this crap. Crying out loud, it's 2016. We know that gender isn't binary. We know it's a spectrum. Stop trying to stifle your feelings. It's not, nobody's going to run around and tease. They shouldn't. There shouldn't be anybody teasing you for it. You should be able to feel whatever the hell you want to feel. Be who you want to be. Be who you are. And stop letting people suppress who you are. Stop letting them talk crap about you and letting it bother you. Be the change. Be the change. In any event, this is Steve with Real Progressives, hoping that we can help men be all they can be and not keep stuffing them into boxes of what some old school patriarchal masculinity says is a real man. Thank you all. You have a great night.